Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker and today we're taking a look at some good old-fashioned Ruby Amethyst control. This isn't one that's won at any of the polls, but it's my jam. This is my favourite deck from Season 1. I haven't had a lot of chance to play it Chapter 2 because I've been focusing on playing what you guys voted for in polls, which I'm more than happy to do most of the time, but I really wanted to play some Ruby Amethyst control, so I did some last night, recorded the games as I normally do just in case I think any are worth showing, and I thought this was a video worth making. There is a particular focus in these particular games that you're going to see on the card, the Sorcerer's Spellbook.
Hello! What are we talking about? Oh, yes, I know this well. The Sorcerer's Colouring In book. Back when I used to sit right here in the Greater Luminary, before Coconut Basket usurped me. I hate you, Coconut Basket. Anyway, before that no-good worthless basket came along, I used to sit right in front of it. It was full of the cutest diagrams. I mean, I wasn't very good at staying inside the lines, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay, pretty sure that this is the spellbook from Fantasia. So pretty important, and I'm theorising here, but the fact that it's a +1 lore gain in its ability makes me think that, as well as being a spellbook, it probably has clues to do with how to find all the other lost lore. Would be a good starting point for most Illumineers, so pretty important.
So, it isn't a colouring in book?
No.
Oh.
So let's take a look at my version of Ruby Amethyst Control. Of course, called it Bounce, Baker Bounce. So Season 1, Ruby Amethyst was, I think I can say pretty confidently, the second best deck in format. I think what it suffered from more than anything was just it had a really slow early game. You needed to get further into the game before you could really apply much pressure. Plus, in a tournament setting, the fact that it needed to play long games didn't help with a 50-minute clock to get 2 out of 3 games played. So I think that was one of the biggest weaknesses from Chapter 1 format. However, with the introduction of the bounce cards, such as Arthur, Madam Mim, Merlin Goat is a big menace on this format. It makes it so much easier to really put on that quest pressure. You can still deal with the board with things like Madam Mim Fox with Rush. You can be drawing cards with Rabbit. To be getting to your outs quicker, and just control in general got an extra, like, got Lady Tremaine now. You see we're playing a copy of the Scar. We've got Queen of Hearts for Rush, who's really good just to add to some threats in the meta. Cinderella from the Cinderella from Amber being one of the main targets, but there's lots of things that Queen of Hearts can help with. But yeah, just this deck just has such a better game now because it doesn't even need to get to the big stuff all the time. It can just bounce its way to victory thanks to Arthur and Goat. So yeah, this is the version that I've gone for. I've got, this list shows 4 mini, and this is the list that will be linked down below, but I will say straight away the 2 games that you're about to see, these minis weren't in the deck, they were Pascal's. And I've since decided that mini is better. One of the main reasons is that you can still put her down against the opposing Amber Cinderella, and the Storm Rage On doesn't take you out. You can also challenge into opposing, if you're against aggro, things like Maleficence, the 1-cost Uninkable that quests for 2, or the Pinocchio. You can go into things like that and survive the hit. So I'm really enjoying mini. You could go Olaf if you would prefer to, if your thought trail is, well, I'd rather reveal that I'm running purple than running red. My thought trail is, if you're running this mini, they have to consider that you may have the Diver mini, the shifted one with evasive. And that being the case, they may hold on to evasive things that they otherwise wouldn't have. You could just play that evasive Diver mini in this deck if you wanted to. It's pretty cool for a turn 2 friends on the other side, or response to evasive, but we've got a better response to evasive that we're going to get to. But yeah, that's why I've gone with mini. All the bounce stuff is pretty straightforward. 4 Snake, 4 Fox, 4 Goat. I've only gone with 3 Rabbit. I think this is more than enough. We draw really well anyway, and we've got Maleficence, and we've got friends on the other side. We've got Merlin, Squirrel, who we'll talk about in a moment, to help us a bit more. So yeah, I've found that 3 is working for me, especially because I'm running 21 Uninkables in this deck. So I'm enjoying 3. Yzma here at a 3 count, great for bouncing away threats if we just need to deal with a threat, but also just great for bouncing back our own minis, our own Merlins. Yeah, whichever Merlin you're going to there's going to be good reasons to bounce all of them, whether you're drawing cards, looking at the top card of your deck with Squirrel, or just gaining lore with Fox. You can also just bounce your big pieces like your Elses and Maleficents, which again, so can the Snake and the Fox contribute towards that. So we love all that. Broom packages are a thing of the past. You needed them because you needed to play a long game and you needed to be able to recycle resources. We can already recycle a lot of our resources and we don't need to play as long a game anymore. Sometimes you still will, but I don't think they're worth the slots anymore. You could make an argument to getting a couple in there just so that you could recycle your Be Prepareds, because if too many of them get wheeled away against steel, or if you are just in a mirror and neither, like, even in the mirror, it shouldn't come down to anyone needing a broom, because one player or the other should bounce Goat Arthur their way to victory before you would ever need Broom. So that's why I think it's fallen all the way off. Obviously, the Sorcerer's Spellbook is one of the main cards in this particular deck, and that will be showcased in these particular games. I will also talk briefly about Peter Pan Shadow. Isn't really highlighted in these 2 games that you're going to see. Otherwise, he would have been on the thumbnail. But I'm going to keep playing games with this, and as soon as I get a good demonstration game of Peter Pan Shadow coming in clutch, which I think it can do, then you'll see a new video with this deck with Peter Pan Shadow on the thumbnail, and you'll know, he got it off. And to be fair, it's not even that rare to get Peter Pan Shadow value, because he works with all of our rush characters, because yes, 4 cost Uninkable, 2/3 stat line, quest for 2, evasive and rush, but also the tiptoe ability. Your other characters with rush gain evasive. So your Queen of Hearts with rush gain evasive, so you can pop into those opposing Pascals. That's great. And Maui and Madam Fox just become beasts against anyone that's played. There is a rise. I am seeing a rise in evasives on the ladder. And Peter Pan Shadow just helps so much. He can't always himself deal with the evasive threats, because quite often they have 3 wall power. If it's things like Mini or Pongo, things like that. But just being able to give evasive to Madam Mim Fox or to Maui is just such a great play. So I'm really enjoying the 2 Peter Pan Shadow. Plus it can just be quest pressure because he quests for 2 and he's got evasive themselves, so it might force them to use some removal that they have that they otherwise would have rather be used on your bigger threats. So Peter Pan Shadow, I'm really enjoying in this deck. I'm yet to have a game where he's massively been showcased, but it will come. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the Peter Pan Shadow. But other than that, everything else should look straightforward. I am running 1 Scar in this list. We are at 61 cards. That's perfectly acceptable in my book, but just letting you know, if you want 60, then you'll need to find at least a cut here. If you like the look of this deck in general, but you want to run 60, you will have to find a cut. It could be Scar. It could be one of the Queen of Hearts. I think that's quite reasonable. Yeah, Merlin Squirrel. Just an extra 2-drop for us to put down to be able to hopefully have turn 3 Madam Mim Fox if we need it, or just another way. And sometimes you don't have the 1-drop on turn 1, so you really want the 2-drop on turn 2, so that at the very least on turn 3, if you don't have reason to play Madam Mim Fox or you don't have Maleficent, then you can just bounce it back to your hand and play Madam Mim Snake, and then sometimes you're getting an extra scout of the next card of your deck with Merlin Squirrel, which does come in useful, or you're returning the mini and now you can ink that. So this is the deck that I've gone with, so let's jump into 2 games. Alright, game 1. We're going first. So this opening hand, before it's even full, we start throwing things back. So we don't need Dragon's Fire and Maleficent until later on in the game. I always like to keep one of my things that can bounce. So we keep the Snake. We also keep the Queen of Hearts as a response card to the opponent just starting with anything aggro, whether it's, like I said, the Amber, Cinderella, or again, it's just really good against if they start dropping the Uninkable Maleficent that quests for 2, or Pinocchio's on turn 2. So we like to keep that. And Merlin Rabbit is going to be some of our draws, so we keep that as as well. We get an Arthur, a Snake, and a Lady Tremaine. So not the best, not the worst. At least we have stuff that we can ink, and we can build some response plays anyway. Having the Queen of Hearts makes me feel a little bit better. So we ink the Snake, pass over. They ink a Tink, so we know we're up against Steel, and then they throw down that Cinderella. So it is Steel, Amber. We draw up. We find the Pascal. Would have been nice to have last turn, but never mind. We ink him straight away. I do consider throwing down the Queen of Hearts here, but I do decide against it. Like, sometimes you should just even if you're expecting the Storm Rage on, they won't always have it, and sometimes it's worth just saying, well, let's at least make them have the card. But in this instance, I prefer the idea of just holding it. Let's not give them a free draw as well off of the replacing the card. And yeah, let's just hold and hope that they maybe quest with the Cinderella or something, and then I can just take it out straight away. They ink a Stitch and throw down a Simba Bodyguard, which is a good play from them. We draw a Maleficent. I mull this over for a moment. We end up inking the Snake, and we throw down the... Yeah, I do commit to this. Just to draw an extra card. Again, I just want to start, I'm not going to be able to deal with this board straight away, but I'm not too worried about that. They're not going to go too far ahead of us, and we're already at 3 ink, so we just want to build a Maui, really. So they ink a Queen, and they throw down an Ariel. They do miss this hit, which does suck for them, but it happens. They quest up with Simba Bodyguard and with Cinderella and pass. We draw Yzma, who we ink straight away. This allows us now to throw down Rabbit. We want to start building our hand. Again, we're going to be at 5 ink next turn anyway. We still can't really deal with the opposing board. Plus, we've got to respect that they might already have the wheel. So that would have been potentially a reason to not play Merlin Rabbit there, but I thought it was my best play with the hand I had. They throw down another Cinderella and grab your swords. That takes out my Maleficent, and my Rabbit survives. They quest up to 5, and it's not looking good from an early start. We draw the Peter Pan Shadow. Not good in this particular moment, or probably in this game in particular. We ink the Merlin Squirrel, taking us up to 5. We can now, at the very least, throw down the Maui, take out this Simba Bodyguard, and then I'm perfectly happy to trade into this Cinderella, get her off the field, replace the Rabbit, draw another card. We're at 5 ink, so already we're in a pretty, again, they had an early start, but if you look at the card count, they have missed Whole New World, but if anything, that's just a highlight of, if you're playing Steel Amber Songs, if you miss the wheel, then even with one aerial search, it can be trouble. But they still have an aggressive board. They're able to shift into the Stout-Hearted Cinderella, who they quest up with to 8. They leave Ariel where they are because they don't want to give it up for free from Maui, which is respectable. Worth noting, they will know that the Cinderella isn't going to be banished to the Maui because of the resist 2. They would only take 4 damage, which is still a pretty good chunk. They pass over to us. We draw Merlin Squirrel. We ink a Queen of Hearts. And yeah, this is where I'm happy to throw down the Lady Tremaine, because they're always going to get rid of the Ariel here. My thought trail is, let's take away the ability to top Whole New World and just play it for free. If you top it, then I want to know that you're at least paying for it. So we do that. We expect that to be the play. We go in with Maui, get that 4 damage on, and we pass up. They draw. They throw down a Rapunzel. This did make me cry, but okay, it's going to happen. So they're able to throw down a Rapunzel and draw 3, getting a big heal off of that. They ink Stitch and throw down a Lantern. So they have emptied their hand a lot, but they've got a nice board, and they've managed to establish a Lantern, which does matter. Throw down a Stitch. They quest up, and they pass over to us, and we draw a Merlin Rabbit. We just immediately quest up with Lady Tremaine. We're going to ink this Merlin, and then we're just going to go, be prepared. Still just one of the most dominant cards in the game. We pass over. They throw down a Cinderella Stout-Hearted. I missed what they ink. Hopefully you saw it. They pass over to us. We draw friends on the other side. We throw down Merlin Rabbit. We're still not in the best position because they're really ahead of us, and we know they're going to 14 next turn. We throw down the Rabbit. We draw a Maui. We just need to draw cards. We need to find removal. We need to build a removal. So we draw 2 cards. Yeah, and ahh about this, but I do end up inking this Merlin Goat because I know that the Maui's going to be important to get rid of this Cinderella. I know the friends are going to be important to build to removal, and I want the Snake to be able to bounce this Rabbit back to my hand as well. So it doesn't feel great, but I throw away the Goat and we pass up. They draw, they throw down a Simba Bodyguard, which hoits, and they quest to 14, so the pressure is on. We draw a Maleficent. We immediately sing friends on the other side, drawing Maui and Arthur. We're going to throw down that Maui, go straight into this Bodyguard Simba, get it out of here. And then we're going to throw down Madam Mim's Snake to return the rabbit to my hand, draw another card, which is Friends on the other side. I ink the Maleficent. You know, I don't know if I acknowledged this when I was going through the deck, but only 3 Maleficents. You do end up inking them a lot. Like, they're still a great include, because if you don't have anything else, they're a great turn 3 play. But we have a lot of other things that we can do on turn 3, and we have a lot of draw in general. So I'm only running 3 Maleficent, and a lot of the time, like, don't feel bad about inking them, especially if you have access to rabbit. So we throw that away, we pass up. Again, I'm really feeling the pressure here, because I know that they're going to 17 in this turn. They play the world's greatest criminal mind. Sorry. They quest up to 17 and pass up. We are thankfully able to throw down a Maui, go in, and then go in with our pre-established Madam Mim Snake. We throw down rabbit, because we know I need all of the removal. We draw a squirrel. We ink him up, because I want all the ink in the world to play with as well. And now they top the wheel. So, okay, it happens. So we're going to lose 2 Arthur, a Peter Pan Shadow, a Goat, and a Friend on the other side. We draw a Queen, a Be Prepared, a Pascal, a Madam Mim Snake, Yzma, and 2 Sorcerer's Spellbook. They throw down the Cinderella. They throw down the Queen, and again, this is threatening. This is technically check, because it's double check really, like whether they shift onto the Queen or the Cinderella, it's going to be game. So we draw. Thankfully, we got to Be Prepared in that wheel. We quest up with Merlin Rabbit. We just throw down the Be Prepared straight away. We have to respect their ability to just win next turn. We draw off of Rabbit, getting Dragon's Fire, and now down goes the first of the Sorcerer's Spellbook. We throw away a Queen of Hearts so that we can pay for it. We could have thrown down Pascal there as well. I didn't see a massive need, in my opinion, next turn, really. If they throw down a threat, then I want to either Maleficent or Yzma or Dragon's Fire, and I'd like to get down the second spell book and start catching up now. So we pass over, they draw, they ink Surfer Stitch, throw down the Rockstar Stitch, then they pay for Lantern, throw down a new Dog Stitch, immediately exert to draw, throw down the Cinderella as a result, immediately exert to draw, and thankfully we do draw the Be Prepared here. But I am going to point out another Madam Mim Fox, of which there are another 3 in the deck, or another Maui, of which I think there are 2. Yeah, it was a potential out, because I could have, if I'd have drawn the Fox or the Maui, then I could have removed 2 of these threats with my combination of Fox, Maui, the Dragon's Fire that's in my hand. I could have removed 2 of these threats. I would have definitely gotten rid of the Rockstar Stitch, and then I would have done a check for the discard, see what the odds are of them having the another Rockstar Stitch or another Cinderella Stout-Hearted in their hand. I'd have played the maths, removed that one. So yeah, it wasn't a definite out. There's a chance I needed this Be Prepared, but depending on their hand, just a Maui or a Madam Mim Fox would have also done. To be fair, even if I hadn't drawn either of them, at the very least, I could have gone Yzma to shuffle one of their cards back and play Dragon's Fire on the other. So yeah, it would there was a chance that this didn't need to be prepared, but there was a chance that it did need to. But hey, that's card games. That's the way it happens sometimes. They top the wheel. I top the Be Prepared when I need it. So we play the Be Prepared straight away, deal with this board, and we throw down our second Sorcerer's Spellbook. We pay for 1 to gain that sweet lore. I here if I want to ink. Yeah, I decide that I do. I just want to be. I considered holding the Pascal for the easy play Snake, but then in my head I was like, well, I could just play Maleficent and then play Snake. I've got enough ink, so yeah, just ink it. They ink a World's Greatest Criminal Mind. We took a quick look from my own discard, and while I was doing that, they played Wheel again. Which is fair enough. At this point we have gone through all of our Be Prepareds, I think. They play Ariel, they find a Storm Rage on off of it, they throw down the Queen, which once again, threatening game if they can shift onto the other Queen. We throw down Maleficent, we remove that Queen, it's the bigger threat, and then we pay for both of these spellbooks, ink a Pascal, and then I think I play the Queen here. Yeah, throw down the Queen of Hearts. Pass over to them. Yeah, there you go. Did a quick check of the cards left in deck. There you go. Put that on there in case you missed that, or in case I missed it. They pay Lantern to throw down the Queen Floodborn, so they would have had game if I didn't get rid of the baby Queen. They ink a Surfer Stitch. They play Let the Storm Rage On, removing our Queen of Hearts, drawing another card. They're going to quest up to 18. So again, it's pretty close. Throw down another Lantern, we draw another Maleficent. We're gonna immediately just quest up. We're gonna throw down the Fox, bounce the Maleficent back to our hand, take out this Aerial, and then we've still got so much ink to play with. I tried to choose here whether or not, because I did think about playing Dragon's Fire, because then I would have had I nearly went with Dragon's Fire because I wasn't sure if I would have enough ink to pay for both of these spell books, but I do. I work out, okay, I can just ink Pascal and then I can pay for both of them. Alternatively, I could have gone Dragon's Fire and that would have also allowed me to play the other spell book in my hand and pay for it, but I thought, well, putting a body down is also good because it means that I can quest next turn, and at this point we're now 2 turns from game. They play Let the Storm Rage On, remove our Fox, drawing a card in the process. They throw down a Rockstar Stitch, and that's all they can do with their turn. We draw the Goat, the literal Goat. We play Dragon's Fire, get rid of that Rockstar Stitch, throw down our Merlin Goat at this point, taking us to 13 lore. We read those spell books, taking us to 15, quest to 17, and then add the final spell book. So just look at how much of this game has been caught up purely due to these spell books. They play the wheel. I do another check. My 7 cards to their 9. I have a look through their discard. They have gone through all their wheels at this point. They play double Lantern. They throw down Aerial. I do think they find something off of it here. They finally grab the swords. There's a cut here because they took a long time before inking the Tinkerbell, and then a long time, but they eventually surrendered because we just have game. There's literally nothing they can do. So yeah, a really strong showing for the Sorcerer's Spellbook, and that's why I thought this game was worth showing to you. But let's jump into another. Okay, we're going first again. It's slowly becoming a pattern. You go first, you win. So our opening hand, we throw away both of the Dragon's Fires, and we don't need the Goat at this point in time. I want the Pascal down for a turn 1 drop. That sounds good. I've got a nice little curve here and friends on the other side. So I could have kept the Goat, but we throw it. We ended up with a Peter Pan Shadow and 2 Madam Mim Foxes, one of which we ink, and we throw down our friendly Chameleon. That's what he is, right? They ink a Goat and throw down their Maleficent. It's biding her time, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. We draw a Be Prepared, throw our Maleficent, because I know I'm more than likely throwing down Madam Mim Fox, and she can be the one to most likely sing friends on the other side, or we can just pay for it at a later turn. We throw down our Merlin Squirrel, so we're able to take a look at the top card of our deck. We do keep Maui on the top purely because it's ink. I don't want to lose this Fox or this friends on the other side, so that's the main reason, the only reason we keep it there. We quest to 1, we pass to them, they ink Madam Mim Fox, quest to 2, and throw down the LeFou. I didn't mention that we're not running LeFous in our deck. They can be really good, and it gives you a really nice little Arthur loop, and if you're playing the more aggro version of Ruby Amethyst, then yeah, it's a great include. I've just opted against it. I think LeFou is a really good include. I was enjoying the squirrels. So comes over to our turn. We draw that Maui that we knew was on top. We ink it so that we can throw down Madam Mim Fox, just so we can bounce this Merlin back. We look at the top card, which is a rabbit. I am happy to keep that rabbit now because I'm just going to, next turn I'm just going to I'm probably inking this squirrel, and then I can play the rabbit, or in my head I might even be singing friends on the other side, depending on what they do. They ink, they throw down a Maleficent, drawing a card in the process. They quest up with both LeFou and Maleficent, which is I'm really glad to see because now I can deal with this board. They pass over to us. We draw that rabbit that we knew we were going to see. We go in with the Fox. We go in with Pascal. Another time where Minnie would have been better because I'd have lived it. We ink that squirrel, and we throw down that rabbit. So we draw a card and pass over. So we're just regaining our resources now. They sing friends on the other side with Maleficent. They ink Pascal, throw down the Merlin Goat, gaining 1 lore in the process, and pass over to us. We draw Peter Pan Shadow. We immediately start eyeing up, taking out this Maleficent because we survive it as well. This is a misplay. I meant to sing this. I meant to sing with this, not a misplay, a misclick. I admit to my misplays, this was a misclick. I did mean to sing this, but nonetheless, we end up accidentally paying for friends on the other side. We draw a couple of cards. We ink the Merlin. It was the only thing in my hand I could ink. We do decide to quest with Fox, which I'm not necessarily. Yeah, I think that was probably fine. But yeah, we would have much rather would have sung that, because then we would have been free. That we would have had 5 ink to play with which I most likely would have just thrown down Arthur, possibly one of the Peter Pan Shadows. But yeah, but it happens. We pass over, they draw, they go into our rabbit, we draw a card as a result, they throw down the Queen of Hearts, and that rushes into our fox trading. They're going to ink a Madam Mim Fox, and they throw down their snake to return that goat, so they're starting their lore loop. Pass over to us, we draw the literal goat, we ink Maleficent, and we throw down Lady Tremaine. Let's just start applying some board pressure here at this point. Like, I've got to be prepared if things start to go really wrong. I was like, let's just get rid of this snake. Let's take away also the ability for you to play Fox and return this snake so that you then have it in your hand. Because I know that they've got the goat, so let's just remove as many of those cards that can bounce as possible. Because it will be easy for them to return that snake to their hand. So yeah, we throw down the Tremaine, make them remove it. We pass up, they throw down a Merlin Goat, gaining a lore. They also throw down a Pascal. I did miss what they inked. They pass over to us. We draw another Merlin Rabbit. Again, we're only running 3 and we're seeing them all the time. 3 is fine. We throw down that rabbit, drawing a card. We get another snake, which is fine as either an inkable or just a way to bounce. Yeah, we do end up throwing another one of our goats because in my head, I want to ink, and in my head, this snake has more value at the moment returning this rabbit to my hand, or even returning the Tremaine so that I can reuse it. Doesn't feel good to give up goats, especially when I've got a bit of catching up to do, but I would rather focus on building hand control, just have more resources and be able to control the board better. So we do throw away our goats, we quest up with Tremaine, and we throw down Arthur, which is a lot of pressure to be throwing down. We pass, they throw down Maui, who goes straight into Tremaine and survives the hit. They quest up with Pascal and with Goat, taking them to 10. We top a Be Prepared. We already have one though. We do what you probably would expect here. We quest up with Merlin to gain 1. We quest up with Arthur, returning the rabbit to our hand to gain 2 lore, and, well, 3 technically, because you still get Arthur's 1 just for questing, and returning the rabbit allows me to draw another card. Then we throw down the Be Prepared. I think I ink Maleficent here. They do gain a lore because I took their Goat off the field. Sorry for Ziggy the Parrot in the background. We do ink the Maleficent. We pass over to them, and just, we're now much closer in the race, and I'm at 8 ink and they're at 5, so like I'd like to see that whole list. They have obviously suffered from having too many uninkables and drawing too many, but then I haven't seen their whole hand. There may have been a better line of play for them, but we'll never know. But they throw down the Merlin Rabbit, allowing them to draw a card. Pass over to us, we top Yzma. We just throw down our own rabbit. I'll have a bit of that. Let's just draw some cards. We top the Sorcerer's Spellbook. We ink up that Yzma, who we could have kept, because it's like, yeah, we could have kept that, but I don't want to give up this snake. I think the snake is better to keep. And we immediately throw it down, bounce this rabbit back to our hand, draw another card as a result, throw down the Sorcerer's Spellbook, and pass over. They pass over to them. They draw. Got too much quick talking in a row. I hope it's not. Give me feedback. Like, I know sometimes I talk at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Is it a good pace? Do I need to slow down a bit? Let me know. They draw, they throw down Minnie, they quest up with Merlin Rabbit and throw down LeFou, re-readying that rabbit. We draw Madam Mim Snake, we quest up immediately. We're just going to be prepared this board. Let's just like take away, I don't want them getting any closer to game. I can interrupt one thing on this board by playing Yzma, but that gives them more cards in their hands. So yeah, let's just quest, let's play Be Prepared, remove the board. Yes, they get to draw a card off of the rabbit, but that's fine with me. We pay for Sorcerer's Spellbook, taking us to 11, and yeah, we just pass there. I don't think I even inked, because I want to keep my whole hand. They throw down a Minnie and a Queen of Hearts, and pass. We draw Maui. We're just going to throw down Rabbit here. They're only questing for 2 next turn, and I just want more. I want more removal cards, so we draw. We get friends on the other side. We're going to throw down our Madam Mim Snake as well straight away, and return that rabbit to draw another card. We draw another Queen of Hearts. We're going to pay for friends on the other side the old-fashioned way, drawing Tremaine and Maui. We ink the Maui. I think I just pay for Sorcerer's Spellbook here. Yeah, nearly forgot. Pass over. They ink Maui. They're going to quest up with the Queen of Hearts. Sorry, with Minnie Mouse and the Queen of Hearts. They throw down an Yzma. They do return their own Minnie to their deck so they can draw cards. They clearly just need resources, and then they pass up. We draw friends on the other side. At this point, we do throw down Peter Pan Shadow, purely because it has Rush. And it can go into this Queen of Hearts and survive. And again, it quests for 2 next turn, so that's still some pressure. So we do that. Then we throw down the Lady Tremaine when they've only got one card, one character remaining on their board. So that gets rid of Yzma. We quest up with Snake. We ink the Queen of Hearts. And then we just pay for the spell books, and now we're at 14. So at this point, we are so close to game. We have a board state, we have a good hand size. They're going to ink their Maui, and they play their Be Prepared. Fair game, boss. I totally understand. Pass over to us. We draw Madam Mim Fox. We're going to throw down the rabbit. We're going to draw another card. We're going to play the Yzma, return the rabbit to our deck, drawing 3 cards total, if you include the draw from rabbit leaving the field. We're going to ink our Queen of Hearts so that we can both play the Pascal and pay for the Sorcerer's Spellbook, and we pass up. And right here I am threatening game, because Yzma and Pascal can take me to 18. The book on the field takes me to 19, and the book in my hand will win me the game. So if they don't upset this board, it's game. They play Arthur. They play Minnie. So they did have this evasive package. So if they'd have had that sooner, I could have showcased Pete's Bad Shadow. Next time. So they extend, they have to, we draw, and we do exactly what I just said. And they must have been annoyed about this, the fact I was just able to throw down this spell book. And we quest for game. So just such a strong showing for the Sorcerer's Spellbook, and I like these 2 games just really showcasing that, and that's why I wanted to put them together and make Spellbook the defining part of this video for you to walk away. And if you weren't considering Spellbook, it is something to consider. And even if you're not running Amethyst, if you're running Steel or Sapphire, technically, you should be running some of that item removal, because it's just such a good card. One more note I didn't make when I was looking at the deck list, you'll notice I've got 2 Dragon's Fire here, which a lot of people are cutting. I really don't like that cut. Lady Tremaine is brilliant. It's like, because it's on a body, but it's because people are learning how to play around it. You're seeing more 1-drops. It's not as assured that you're removing the target you actually want, and sometimes you need to remove that Stout-Hearted or that Ariel or that Arthur. So I think Dragon's Fire is too important to just stop running. I think Lady Tremaine is still really, really good, but yeah, we're at a 2-2 count. And that's it from me. No Crystal Mailbag today. I believe he's hiding somewhere, but he'll do it all in the next episode. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you soon.